I'm excited to come back. I put a lot of years of my life into building the program at Drake and living in Des Moines, and so it is a big part of me, and feels, felt like home. Although I have to say, Montana feels like home now. But I'm excited. Drake Stadium is a place where I coached a lot of games, and it's going to be different to be on the other sideline and in the wrong locker room. But I'm looking forward to it.
How would you compare the talent in that part of the country to this part of the country?
Well, I think Drake and Montana State are both similar in the sense that we don't draw our teams totally from our local region. We have about 50% of our guys from Montana, and Drake probably has 50%, maybe a little less, of their guys from Iowa. So both of us have to recruit outside of our local area. And the Iowa guys and the Montana guys are the heart and soul of each program, and they're the hardworking, dedicated, loyal guys that make up the core of each team. So there's a lot of similarities.
Do you think the talent level is different one place or the other?
They're exactly the same.
Coach, going back there, I mean, when you look at what Drake's done since you've left, does that give you kind of a sense of pride that you were able to kind of build something and have it sustain the success after you've gone?
It does. It does. I think we put a really solid program together with good high school recruiting, 99% high school recruiting. So guys were in the weight room. There was a tradition there of working hard and having to earn your spot. A lot of red shirting, so guys developed before they played, and just the tradition of winning, the expectation of getting a championship ring. We promised every guy when I was at Drake that they would leave with two things: a diploma and a championship ring. And we have promised the same thing to our guys here at Montana State. And I think that's how you build a program, is to bring in the right kind of guys that fit academically at the program, and then train and build them over time. And so I'm glad to see that Coach Creighton's been able to work with that same model and perpetuate the success.
You're not the only Drake guy here, so I mean, how much do the kind of the principles of the programs reflect each other now that they're two separate deals, but a lot of the same principles going forward here?
Right. We have some assistant coaches that either played at Drake or coached at Drake. Our two interns are both recent Drake graduates, Steve Flynn and Jimmy Nelson. So we do have a lot of carryover there. And the foundations are very similar on how the program is run and operated. And I told our team on Sunday, I said, we're going to be playing a mirror image of ourselves. Drake is fundamentally very sound. They play really good defense. They're balanced on offense, and they attack teams in a smart, intelligent way, and they play really hard, and they're committed guys that are always in the right place. So I think there are mirror images for sure.
Taking that mirror image one step farther, do you see kind of some mirror images as far as the personnel goes? I know they have a really good quarterback, inexperience on the offensive line, strong linebackers, good pass rush. It sounds a lot like you guys.
Yeah, it really does. And their strength is definitely in the defensive line, like ours is. Coach, the quarterback is tremendous. Piatkowski's a fabulous player. He was the player of the year in the Pioneer League. Denarius has been the player of the year in the Big Sky. So there are tremendous analogies, I think, and comparisons with our two programs.
Rob, how good do you think your defense is? Is it actually better than you thought it would be?
Well, I think the jury's still out. We got to find out exactly what's going to happen here against a very good Drake offense. Last time Drake came out here, they scored 21 points on us. They moved the ball. They had some good totals, and this will be a good test for our defense. And I'll answer that question a lot better after we play this game.
Well, after watching video, what do you think of the way they fly around the field?
Our guys fly around great. I mean, we are built for speed. We are a fast, aggressive team. We stop a lot of plays before they can get started, and that was all good. It was really on display on Saturday or on Thursday. But the difference with Drake is that Drake has an offense that can get rid of the ball quickly. With their offense, they run a lot of different tempos. They can speed ball you, then they can check you, they can get you to jump off sides. And they're not going to sit back and have Piatkowski be a sitting duck for our pass rush. So it'll be a whole different challenge.
Is there one thing you saw on the tape there, Coach, that you have to tweak on your defense, looking back at the Shadows tape?
Actually, I thought the defense played well. There was really, they were dominating in both stopping the run and the pass. They stopped the sudden change situation and held Chadron to a field goal, got out of drives, did an excellent job on third down, so it was a pretty complete performance. I guess the challenge is just, can we sustain it on the road where we don't have the crowd, we don't have the excitement of that day one? Are we going to be a consistent team or not. That's going to be the question.
You mentioned Piatkowski. How much different will he be than the two quarterbacks you faced last Thursday?
Well, he's a veteran. You know, he's played forever, and he's really calm and collected back there in the pocket. They protect him well. They've got a very good offensive line and a good scheme. Even though they're young, they're big and physical. I think they're going to be fine. He's a very accurate, very confident passer. I think he's quite talented.
No disrespect to Chadron State, but how much more of a challenge will it be this weekend?
I'm not even going to compare them. I thought Chadron had some really good talent in the defensive area, especially their front seven. I thought they tackled extremely well. You know, our defense was just overwhelming, and so they really never got a chance to show us what they could do with their offense. And so I've just got to wait and see how this all plays out.
Speaking of Chadron's defense, after I went back and watched the tape, they were running some pretty crazy formations. A lot of three safeties over the top, and I mean, like Denarius, his initial inclination was they were breaking off the ball right away, so he was just not even taking that first read, getting it underneath all the time. And what did you think? Looking at it a second time, what did you think your team's kind of ability to adjust and take what the defense gave you guys?
Well, what I was happy with was the ability that we had to block the front. Because it was a very confusing, multiple scheme with a 3-3 look and a lot of blitzes, sometimes a four-man line. We had to change from three-man rules to four-man rules on pass protection. All of our blocking schemes on run plays had to be gapped so that you didn't know for sure who you were blocking, just who came in your gap. And that's a lot to handle. And then you add the fact that we had a young offensive line going against them. I was really happy with our ability to block a very complex scheme. And then I thought the offensive game plan was very good. I thought that Kevin McGivern gave Denarius some high percentage throws, and Denarius executed that plan. I mean, we haven't had a quarterback go 29 for 40 with that kind of percentage. You know, what we do need to do, though, is we've got to attack the ball down the field a little bit more than what we did in that game.
What do you think of the running game's ability to adjust? You talked a little bit about it, but it seemed to me, you said at the press conference that these guys, it took them a little while, a couple series, to kind of figure out what they were seeing there. What do you think their ability to adjust and kind of mesh with that young offensive line?
I think it was a combination of two things. I think the young offensive linemen got used to the live speed of the game, and they got used to some of the stunts, and were able to start to pick up the block the pass plays and gap the run plays extremely well as the game went along. But I also thought our coaching staff did a nice job of adjustments between Coach McAdoo, Coach Link, who are the run game guys, and Coach McGivern. At halftime, they figured out some formations and simplified the run package so that we had a better chance of being successful in the second half. And then the guys went out and executed that plan. So I was very happy with that.
How important will the tight end be in your offense this year?
I don't really know. I mean, T. Salanoa is a fine player, great receiver, very good blocker. Lee Perkins is coming on strong. You know, I'd like to see those guys be involved, but with our offense, you know, the tight ends aren't just competing against each other for playing time. The tight ends are competing against the running backs for playing time and against the wide receivers for playing time, because there's 5 positions out there that could be filled with running backs, receivers, or tight ends. And so every guy is trying to play the best he can, and we're trying to get the right combinations on the field. But I like T. Salanoa in particular as a pass receiver. He's caught the ball extremely well in practice, had a couple catches and a touchdown in the game, and he's a guy that we need to try to involve.
Coach, one of the big questions coming into the year was your kicking game. You get 2 pieces back this week. What does it look like?
I think it'll be nice to have Perez back. You know, he was really good on field goals in preseason. He converted about 80% of all his tries in preseason, and he's been punting the ball beautifully. Donnie Tudall's a great snapper, and it'll be nice to have him back. So I think that we'll take a step forward definitely in the kicking area, although it's going to be their first game, and Perez's first game as a field goal kicker in college. So we have, you know, we're 1 game behind in terms of trying to get him going in that area. So you know, that could be interesting, but I'm happy to have him back.
Have you talked to him? Is he excited to move from punter to kicker? I mean, what's his thought
Yeah,
process?
we brought him in with that in mind. You know, when I recruited Roy Perez, I was out on the national scene looking for a combination kicker-punter who could be a punter for 2 years and then take Jason Cunningham's job when Jason left. That was the scenario from day one for Roy Perez. And, you know, he's embraced that. He's gotten stronger. He worked hard on his kicking in the summertime, and he's ready to go.
Will he punt you?
He'll definitely punt, yeah.